Howdy freeze dryers, I'm always on the quest to find healthy freeze-dried snacks, and lately I've been having a lot of these edamame beans and I can't figure out how they make these. I think that if we freeze dry them, I think that they will actually turn out very similar. But this brand comes in 3 different flavors. It comes in a buffalo, sriracha, and a sea salt, and they're all very, very delicious. I'll show you what they look like. My favorite are the sriracha ones. And it's just an edamame bean, and edamame is actually just a soybean, and they're crunchy, which makes me think that they're probably baked, but I think we can probably cook an edamame, freeze dry it, and get the same effect. So today's video will be a bit of an experiment, but I think that we can replicate these flavors relatively easy. So let's get started with some freeze-dried edamame. So I went to the store to pick up some edamame. The only ones that I could find were actually still in the soybean husk like this. So these are uncooked. I think I'm going to steam them. You can steam them in the bag. I'll take them out of the husk. If you can find an edamame that's already husked, that's just the bean itself, it would be really helpful. But I'm gonna try these a few different ways today. I'm gonna try the 3 different flavors, but I'm going to process them, and then I wanna try one tray of not processed at all, just to see if it will freeze dry that way. If it freeze dries that way, and you can actually get the whole bean like this to freeze dry, that would be very helpful. Let's get started. These are the steam in the bag kind. This says to microwave these for 4.5 to 5.5 minutes. If someone out there in the freeze drying world can find those loose edamame beans, I'd love to know if you can actually freeze dry those raw, and if you get the same effect or same texture and everything, finished product, as we do today with these steamed ones. And I love edamame. They're high protein, low calorie, 0 fat. There's fiber in there. There's just a lot of good stuff in a small package. And any of you out there that are on a specialized diet, these are very low carbs, they're keto friendly, they're gluten free, they're vegan friendly, and really just a pretty amazing food. So we'll open these up, we'll get them out of the husk, and we'll get to working on tray 1. If you've never seen edamame, they're basically, it's a soybean. It's just in a soybean pod, looks similar to a pea pod, and then you just separate that husk from the bean. That first bag gave us just about a cup of cooked edamame. That's gonna be plenty. I'm just experimenting today, and I really don't, if this is a bust, I don't wanna waste a whole bunch of edamame and freeze dryer time. I'm gonna sprinkle this with some salt, give it a mix, and this first tray, I'm just gonna do whole edamame cooked, because if you can do whole edamame without having to process these any farther, it's gonna help out a whole bunch. It's gonna save you a bunch of time. And the finished product's gonna be a lot nicer. It'll be more like what I'm used to in these snack pouches. Second tray, we're going to do the same thing. I'm gonna remove everything from the husk. I'm gonna anticipate it's gonna be very close to the same, about a cup of finished, and we're gonna do some buffalo sauce. And on this second batch, I'm just gonna pull some in the food processor real quick, just in case the whole bean does not work. That gives some water a place to escape. You just need to nick the surface somewhere. You don't need to actually process it down into minced or anything. And that gave us just about a cup again. I'm gonna add just a little bit of salt, and then we're gonna use some spicy buffalo sauce, some wing sauce. I'm gonna start off with about a tablespoon of that and see if I think that's gonna give us enough buffalo flavor. You don't wanna overpower it with buffalo flavor, but you definitely want it to know that it's there. And tablespoon actually looks good. Tablespoon per cup of edamame beans. We'll go on to our second tray with those. And just pulsing these, it didn't mince them down, it didn't cut them down to real small pieces, but I think that it did make it so we're gonna be able to freeze dry it a lot easier. All right, let's go to tray 3 now. Third tray, same thing, just a dash of salt, and then I'm gonna do a tablespoon of sriracha this time. And these were also in the food processor. So trays 2, 3, and 4 are all gonna be processed. Give that a mix, go on to tray 3. So we'll see how my ratios work out. This is 1 cup of edamame and 1 tablespoon of sriracha. The other one was 1 cup of edamame and 1 tablespoon of buffalo sauce. Let's go to tray 4. In our last tray, I was actually gonna do some sea salt on the processed ones, but I think I'm actually just gonna leave them plain because freeze drying actually brings out sweetness in certain foods. Peas are a good example of that. If you've never tried freeze-dried peas before, they're really good. They're actually a really good snack just plain. You don't need any salt or anything on them. So with any luck, we'll have that same result with just plain edamame. And I think that means we're ready to go. So we have a cup of plain, a cup of buffalo, a cup of sriracha, and then a cup of sea salt that have not been in the food processor. Let's take these to the freeze dryer. And I decided not to pre-freeze. You will probably find benefit in pre-freezing as with most foods. But if you enjoy this content, make sure you subscribe to our channel, Live Life Simple. We do primarily freeze drying on this channel. And while you're there, give us a thumbs up and let YouTube know that you enjoyed the videos. And this recipe, as well as hundreds of other recipes, can be found at thefreezedryingcookbook.com. And we also have a new volume 2 of the hard copy available for purchase at freezedryingsupplies.com, as well as any of the green things that you've seen in this video or other videos, any of the accessories. Those can be found at freezedryingsupplies.com as well. We're using Harvest Right freeze dryers today. If you want to check out Harvest Right freeze dryers, we've been using them for over 6 years now. You can go through our affiliate link. If you end up purchasing through our affiliate link, it greatly helps out this little YouTube channel. And that support also helps our Facebook and our MeWe groups. Those are our social media groups. Retired at 40's freeze drying group. That's how you can find either one of those in those platforms. We do monthly giveaways in those, and we just gave away a freeze dryer not too long ago for Christmas, as well as tons and tons of other freeze drying accessories. And I think our freeze dried edamame snacks are done, so let's check them out. And after about 16 and a half hours, these were done, so they were very quick. Let's see if we achieved what we set out to do. So I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. The bad news is that the whole ones are still, they're crunchy on the outside. Some of them are done. This one was done. Some of these that were not nicked are still a little soft on the inside. The good news, the ones that were nicked or cut in half or just in pieces, they are totally done and they're crunchy. So I think I'm gonna put these in for about another 6 to 8 hours, I think. That'll probably get all of the big ones done. So let's put them back in. Looks wise, I'm actually really impressed. They look like they're supposed to look, and the ones that are done are actually giving you that crunch without having to roast or bake them. Well, I ended up just doing another couple of hours on these. Let's take these into the freeze drying kitchen and we will give them all a taste test. What I wanna know is how these compare with the ones that I buy from the store. The salted ones just have salt on them. These were the whole ones. They were not run through the food processor at all. The ones I buy from the store are actually roasted, I found out. That will give them a really good crunch. These have a crunch. They're a little bit different type of a crunch, but there's no oil or anything on them. It's just salt. Let's go over to the sriracha and see if that sriracha heat came through. They're not too spicy. You could easily add another tablespoon to that cup of edamame. Next we'll do some buffalo wing sauce. Those are my favorite so far, I think. It's definitely not overpowering. These could easily have another tablespoon per cup added as well. Just a real faint buffalo sauce, but really, really good. And last we'll do these, the plain ones. And the main thing I wanted to do with these is just try them plain, because a lot of times when you freeze dry things, it brings out a different flavor in things. A lot of times it will bring out sweetness. Not a ton of sweetness, not compared to like a pea or something like that. But they're actually really good plain. And I'm extremely happy from the results today. I think I got a product that I was looking for. They're not roasted, but they're still crunchy, and they don't have a bunch of oil and things on them. They just have the sauces. I think this is an awesome way to use your freeze dryer. I think it's a great snack. It's a healthy snack Lots of benefit from these. And in the meantime, I hope you give these a try. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do, let us know and give us a thumbs up. And remember to live life simple. We'll catch you next week.